Thank you for having me on the TNL. I got a new business partner of mine. I like to call teammate, man, because I'm real big on locker rooms. I got my buddy Jacob Bruns on with us. Jacob, what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Dude, I could not be doing any better. Where are you where are you coming in via satellite from today?
Yeah, satellite. Right here in Newcastle, Oklahoma, small town.
We need satellite to hit Newcastle, Oklahoma. If I want to take some time today. I was asked to talk about how to get new agents started. And I said, well, I'm not a new agent. I was a new agent. But can I talk with somebody who we've worked with recently about how they got started and what that looks like? And because what I've seen, Jacob, and I've felt and seen for myself is that the longer you do stuff, you almost you kind of forget. And then when you start working with new agents and seeing new agents, you're like, whoa, their attention to detail is like so crazy. I didn't even notice like that mattered because I've just done it for so long. But you say things and I'm like, yeah, that's very important. It's very important. It was very important when I started. So, but getting started, I think there's well, say two ways. I think there's a lot of definitions. Let's just say that of what getting started is. And to me, when I was getting started working with Sean Mike Jacob, it was his getting started was, dude, get on the phone. Like that was really it. It wasn't getting to the course. It wasn't when did you finish your course. It wasn't. He told me he's like, dude, you can finish the course in a day. So I thought I had 24 hours. Makes sense. I was like, I was like, all right, cool. But I didn't finish in 24 hours, but I got it done fairly fast. But
Yeah.
he didn't congratulate me for any of that, getting a license and things. It was just kind of like, okay, no, you need to do that in order to get here. But getting on the phone was getting started. And I want to take some time, Jacob, talking to you about up to that point. You know what I mean? And then we're going to get into in-home fun. We're going to get into all of that. And we're not going to talk too much about the recruiting, but I do think it's interesting, how we met. And it's interesting if it's new to you. It's not interesting if you've been doing this and you're in the world and it's 2022, almost 23. It's like, yeah, but it's like me and my wife, we met on Tinder. Well, I guess like 6 years ago, that was like, oh my gosh, like now it's like, yeah, like that's what people do. It's like, oh, okay, and it's kind of normal now. We met on Instagram. I shot you a DM, and now you're here. So walk us. Can you talk to us briefly? Just give us the quick 5 minute of what that looked like. DM to you getting started. All right, and then we'll get into how we got from you know a DM to on the phone getting started there. We'll talk how we got there.
Basically, you get DMs all the time nowadays from many different people. I'm an investor. You want to make 10K a month, whatever it is. You always find it like too good to be true. But when you shot me a DM and kind of went a different route with it, and you were just like, "Yo, I'm trying to help out baseball players, take on business." And I think that was big for me. I was like, dude, I love business. I looked at your profile, you're a baseball player. So I was like, oh, we can kind of relate. And so you just, we set up a time to call and you kind of explained it to me. And you kind of gave me an opportunity to where like, hey, I'm going to provide you with, getting your course, getting your license, getting all those things for you, no money out of your pocket. And so I was like, I mean, what can go wrong here? I mean, the only thing that can go wrong is, dang, I really don't like doing this. And now I got a license to sell insurance. So that's cool. But I mean, you gave me all the supplies to get started. And pretty much what I had to do was just give it my best shot and just go hard. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out.
Well, I think on that end, like everybody at Family First Life, we're part of a great machine, dude, that,
Yeah.
has, Excel for class. And, we have, the state fees and insurances and leads. And there's a lot of things that could be looked at as an expense, which they are. Or
Yeah.
they can just look like, when I looked at ball, like when they gave me a partial scholarship to Miami, I knew that it was like I had to perform. There's things I had to do. Right. So somebody may be going, well, what do you mean like pay for this or do that? Well, there's also comes with responsibility with that as well. So with that, you knew like, what did I have to lose? But also, what was the understanding of responsibility that was assumed or that was communicated to you, Jacob?
Basically, just go to work and, you supply me with leads and dialing the phone and not stopping until I hit, a certain goal or, just get pickups. Like pretty much when I first started, you just told me basically, listen, our goal right now is to, get pickups. So you can just practice, talking to all these different people and kind of realize that not everyone's going to be like, I'd love you to come out to my house and talk about insurance with me. It just wasn't like that. And you just kind of gave me an idea like, hey, we're not looking to book appointments right now. Okay. We're looking for them to pick up the phone and then we'll go from there. But I think that was big because you gave me kind of like a relief. Like I felt like I had all this pressure on me, but like not really because you took it off of me. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, I thought that I was about to go in first day, like, God, I have to book 12, 15 appointments like everyone else is doing. But you just kind of, relieved me of like, hey, listen, like your first day, it might not go how, you'd like it to, but our main goal is for you to get pickups. And like that was big for me because like I would have dialed till midnight if I didn't get my appointments. But you kind of just took the relief off me. So that was huge.
So coming in, so your expectations of yourself, I mean, coming into this, because we're talking like, how did you get started? How do we help agents get started better and faster? Because you don't like to live in a gray area. I'd like to know real quick if it's going to work for somebody or not.
Yeah.
And if we err on the side of script and things like that, now we're going to be talking about things that don't matter for a long time, versus let's just get on the phone right away. So you had some things that you were, let's say, there was ambivalence, there was some fear coming in that through communication and talking about it, it alleviated some of those things to help you call people 3 times in a row. And I got this from Zach Twardowski. It's like without expectations, proper expectations, dude, we're as human beings, we're just set up to let ourselves down. You know what I mean? Like, dude, we're going to let ourselves down. If we base it all on our perceived perspective with zero experience, dude, why wouldn't you think that your goal was to only schedule appointments, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you? Versus, hey, the name of the game right now is let's get at bats. Let's get at bats. So let's back up a little bit. So we got through class. All right. Get you through class. We're going to help support there. Okay. Because we want to get people started in class and get them moving. But there's not a whole lot of check in and like get it done within a week. I think when you tell people 2-3 months or they got a month to finish it, that's when you find yourself doing a whole lot. But Jacob, how long did we tell you to finish the course?
A week.
A week. Okay. And I said, some people do it in like 2 or 3 days, but we're giving you a week being generous. Okay. Folks, the right people go, got it. And they get it done. Okay. So don't spend a lot of time. This whole getting agents started doesn't spend a lot of time in the pre-licensing and things like that. And I don't really think that going after license is great for experience and all that, but it's not, I don't think it's a speed thing. I don't think the licensed person starts faster than the unlicensed person if expectations are set properly. Okay. So a week in the course, licensed, and then got on the phone immediately. So in between licensing and getting in the field, what was the training? What did that consist of? And what was the instruction at that point that you remember?
Well, basically when I passed my test and like getting ready to get my license and stuff, I actually went to Greece for that week. And I was kind of like, I don't know what's happening when I get back. Cause like, I didn't really have that much training before. And then I just got on the phone literally right when I landed. And next day you were like, dude, let's get on the phone. That was my first dial day. I booked like 6 appointments, but I didn't even need to. See what I'm saying? So it just happened. And I think that's where I was like, dude, like I just booked 6 appointments without even really knowing.
Okay, so you got licensed. So this is a week in class.
Yeah.
You went to Greece for a week. During that time, the state was doing their thing, right? By the time you got back, license was approved. That day, you got on the phone. Okay. What was the Did you have your carrier contracts at that point in time? What did that what was all that looking like?
So I had no carrier contracts. I think I got back on a Saturday, and I was going to talk to Jazz on Monday about carrier contracts and all that. But I think right when I got back, I just started dialing. I didn't have any contracts, something like that. You just said, dude, let's just dial. If you book some, take paper apps out there. So I just hit dialing pretty hard, and with the leads that you provided me, I didn't none came out of my pocket. You just kind of gave me, hey, listen, at bats, like what you said, is the main goal of today. And I just dialed until I couldn't dial anymore. And kind of what you told me was like, 25, 25. And I just hit them hard and ended up booking 6 appointments first dial day.
So, and I want to be, I want to talk about that a little bit, or really clarify, or highlight, I think would be the word, that you're never ready until you just go.
Yeah.
See, Jacob, how long did it take for all of your carriers to come in?
Oh, geez.
For every one of them?
Every one of them, probably a week and a half, 2.
Week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think if it was up to you, Jacob, okay, and not knowing what you know now, if it was up to you, do you think if I would have been a little bit more passive or kind of leave it up to you, that you probably would have waited 2 weeks?
To book appointments?
Yeah, to get going, because you didn't have the carriers, right? You didn't have carriers yet. You couldn't log in. You couldn't, what I mean? There wasn't really much you perceive that you can do.
Yeah.
I think it would have been odds. I know you don't know now, but what are the odds that you think that you would have made the same decision just to get on the phone and get going?
Oh yeah, it would have been really hard. I think I would have been more hesitant to even dial because I was like, what if I book them now? I'm not contracted with anyone, so how am I going to do anything with it? I think that was the big thing, but I definitely would have been a lot more hesitant to even pick up the phone. But you kind of just explained to me.
Okay, so and the reason I want to talk about that, dude, is because we want to help people get moving.
Yeah.
Like I maybe at the beginning, I may have thought that I was helping you, Jacob, by going, hey man, take some time, take a couple weeks, listen to the phone script, study these products over here, and dude, the carriers will be back in about a week or two. You'll be good, right? Mm-hmm. Dude, I've done that. And if you don't know, odds are that's what you're going to do if you're working with new agents. You got to do the complete opposite. You got to go. I heard Andrew Taylor. He said, how do you know when they get on the phone? When you get on the phone, because the odds, what are the odds? First day on the phone, you're going to book 20 appointments the next 2 days. They're all going to be home and you know what I mean? They're all going to be, some carry, like, come on. And if that's the world that we're in, well, then dude, you had a hell of a first day. Why not? Let's just get the first day out like that. Like, oh, dude, Dom, 2 weeks, I could have done that and I would have wrote all the business and I wouldn't have to take it on paper and I wouldn't have to go back. But I really believe as fast as we get going now, you went out there and you committed to dial the phone. And then the next day, Americo came through. That's what was cool. It was like you committed to dial on the phone. And before it was like, oh, okay, Americo came through. Cool. And typically it's going to be Americo and Prosperity are going to be the first two that are going to come through. I know if the worst case is I got to tell Tom, who just got diagnosed with cancer, that I got to come back next week and help him out with a guaranteed issued policy. That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So always think about if I'm trying to help people get going or I'm trying myself to get going. You're watching this and you're going, man, I just want to get going. And you're saying, man, I just ain't got this carrier yet, or I ain't got this yet, or I don't want to. The worst case scenario is that you got to go back and go help them later. That's it. That's it. So don't hold up 90% of your business for 10% of the work or less. It's massive in getting folks started because time is everything. The time that you go from, think about this, Jacob, the time it took from you to get a license to getting paid, how long did that take?
Oh, by the end of my first week, it was like a week and a day. Because I think I wrote that policy.
So within 2 weeks of getting into the course, you were getting a paycheck.
Yes.
Okay. If that would have taken another 2 weeks, or even another 2 weeks, to say a whole month outside of that, what type of energy did that deposit bring around you to maybe silence some people up? Because you're brand new into a new industry talking to a guy off of Instagram.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How imperative was it that you got paid fast versus later?
I was pretty determined just to see for myself, like, oh, this is real. Like, this is really happening. And I think, when that first deposit came in, I was like, holy, it was like 2 weeks since I even thought about even doing anything with insurance. Well, I guess it was probably 3 because of the Greece trip, but, when I saw that deposit, I was just kind of more driven to, keep doing more. And I think that's what really, that's what made me I just block everything else out and just be so focused on this and to do more. And that's
How many families did you help in your first month? Applications did you write?
applications around 20, 22, somewhere around there.
22 applications. It's so important that we understand that we have to get paid fast. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like change your world, become a millionaire fast. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying take our leads and turn it into a deposit as soon as possible. I don't care if your first policy was $10 a month or 10,000 a month. To me, it's the same thing, because if my job is to help you get started, and there's other things that get going, but the first sale is so important because it's all confidence. Now, the agent may be doing numbers and calculations and how much they're getting paid, but to be honest, the right person is looking at it like as in, wow, I can't believe that just even happened. Like it happened. Like if I did it once, I could do it twice.
Yeah.
And after we get them there once, fast, dude, the possibilities are endless, because they're like, dude, I know nothing and I made money in a week. Versus them studying for a month and making the same type of sale, but feeling like they should know more because of how long it's taken. See, when we shorten that time frame and get people winning, now they start believing in themselves versus thinking, well, this is just going to take a while. No, it's not. Now, if we let these things like contracting, license, if we let these things slow us down, then we let the world come at us too. I know if I wouldn't have got paid within my first 2 weeks, my mom would have been in my ear. No doubt. Because I had a joint bank account with her. She saw the deposits going in. I didn't even have my own bank account, dude. Okay. So it was like, I needed validation. Even though I'm a grown man, dude, I was going to do whatever I wanted to do. Promise you, dude, weeks go by, months go by. I'm not winning like I want to win. I'm going to start listening to losers a little bit. It is what it is. Why? Because I'm losing. Yeah. Why am I losing? So I need to win. We need to help people win. And we need to be crazy over the top with, dude, I want you to, how many times, what's the biggest question I ask you?
Biggest question?
Yeah. What's the question that I ask you most often?
Are you on trainings? Or are you on
just in general, just daily?
Usually it's just how you doing.
How you doing? And how you doing isn't like your emotions.
Yeah.
It's how much you getting paid. Did you get paid today? How many times do I ask you get paid?
Every time we talk.
Every time. You get paid today? How much you get paid today? You get paid today? Because it's that important. See, I don't want folks thinking that they should get paid once a week or twice a week or once every other week, or just have that big one that comes in on Tuesdays. Every day. Well, you know why I ask you that, Jacob?
Why?
Because Sean asked me that every day. Every day. You get paid today? And when I started, it was like we got paid Mutual of Omaha on Wednesdays. We didn't even have daily pay. So it was like on some of those days, like, hey, you got paid today, right? And then it really sucked when you said no and they only paid once a week. Ouch.
Yeah.
And yeah, that really sucked, dude. Okay. When I had to go, no, I didn't get paid today. He's like, what? So you got to wait all the way till next Wednesday to get paid? Whew. Gonna be a tough week for you, Dom. And what that did for me was let me know not that he needed the money from me, was that he knew that he cared enough about me to interrogate the reality. So it really let me know, dude, I got to keep this thing rocking. I got to keep this thing rocking. And not for him, but for me, because where I want to be. See, I was 20. How old are you, Jacob?
20.
20. Do you know what the next, I don't know, 2-3 years could look like for you if you put your head down?
Yeah. Kind of.
What does that look like?
First of all, reaching Hall of Fame. That's like the first goal. And I just like I've kind of been doing that. You just say, 30 appointments a week, and I make sure, especially to hit 30 appointments. But I heard, you say, and also Zach Twardowski say, it was more of like, I know I can control booking 30 appointments a week, but I can't control how many applications I write. So it was more of like, okay, if I can get 30 appointments, I can usually write 10 apps a week. Okay, so that was the big goal for me. But long term, it's like, I mean, it's my first year. It's my month and a half now, almost two. I think the biggest thing is just keep growing every month and writing more every month, and until finally I just have consistent like growth, and then bring new agents on, and it's like, yeah, the future. There's just so much in the future that I can control, and like I just set a goal for myself, and I expect to hit it. You see what I'm saying? So I just know it's a very bright future.
Well, you said, and that kind of leads me to, we're talking about getting agents started, right? And
Yeah.
you're getting agents started.
Mm-hmm.
You're helping people get started. And I think a lot of times we confused recruiting with training.
Yeah.
And so we got you up to getting on the phone. I think that's a big deal. Let's get folks on the phone as fast as possible. Okay. But also, when it's time to get in the field, where's the support out there? Because I'm not big at sitting back and going over a whole bunch of products. And honestly, you ask me a question about a product, I'm looking at the same agent guide I'm telling you to go to answer it. Makes sense? Because it's not important. And I hope folks don't think I'm like insulting your intelligence when I say the products aren't important. Please don't hear that. Please don't think that I know something that I'm not telling you. I legit don't know. Like, it's not even like, dude, he just doesn't think I'm smart enough to tell me that about the IULE. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what that is, because it doesn't matter at all. See, but when you get into the home, right? So you get on the phone, there's some things that, yes, we can help you find the underwriting and things like that. We can help you find it easier. But as you get going in this thing, there's a lot of things that's not in the underwriting guide that we can help with in the home. And that's during your first month, really first month or two. If you slip up your first month a little bit and you don't do it, and then your month two, you get serious about it. But I promise you, if you're starting off in this business and you're helping agents get starting off in this business, both of you guys in this relationship have to be open to this. And if you're not, and you got some fancy system or something like that, and cool, I'm all about that stuff as like backup. Like some people have like underwriting genies, and I get all that. But that's not the end all be all. You know where it starts. You know where you're going to, where did I tell you how you were going to learn how to sell, Jacob?
By doing it.
By doing it.
Going to the appointments.
And then what was the instruction there? How were you going to learn?
You said, get to the appointment and then call me.
Then call me.
And I did.
And if you said, well, what do I do here? Or what do I do here? I'd go, just call me when you get there. And thank God you weren't as literal as I was, because Sean told me, call me when you get there. And I called him when I was at the front door. I ring the doorbell and then I called him. And people think I'm playing around when I'm saying this, or I don't ask them. This is no BS. This is how it happened. He said, call me when you get there. And I was like, sweet. Seems easy to me. I was all about not working hard, dude. Like I'm all about working hard. But if you're like, and hopefully people get what I say this, I'm a hard worker, but if you give me an opportunity not to think, I'm not going to think. Make sense? If you're like, oh, dude, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm like, I believe you got it. So I'm going to step back. Like if we had a group project and they were like, hey, you go over there, dude, I wasn't backing you up. I wasn't just in case Tommy didn't bring this. I didn't have it, bro. I believe Tommy was going to bring it to the presentation. It's Tommy's responsibility. He said he was going to do it. So I didn't think that people were playing around. So when you get into this relationship, we have to know that we are in this together. Meaning when you're in that home, my value to you is not I'm a living underwriting guide. See, Sean let me know, dude, read the apps. Like if they say yes, they can't get it. If they say no, they can get it. That's the products. But the products don't sell the policies. So whenever something's new in the home, or you feel like you got to push, or you don't really know the answer, you don't try. You call me. Yeah. Every time. I don't want to, when they say, hey, I don't like things coming on bank account, for you to try to whip something up, Dom. I need you to call me. And then we'll walk through to talk about how Tom doesn't want it to come out of his bank account. Because I can sit here and tell you what I would say, but it's so much better in the moment. And the uncomfortability that you're going to have in that moment when I'm saying it is going to let you know how far I can push it and where you are and with the feeling you need to have. Because if you don't have the feeling, one thing you'll never get from a training is the feeling. It's one thing you'll never get. Even watching this right now, you're trying, but you'll never get it. You get it when you're in the house. And I remember I called Sean up, put him on speaker. He'd sit there, hey, Dom's doing okay in there today? They'd be like, yeah, okay. So he tells me you don't want to come out of your bank account, which I completely understand. But you know, insurances, they got to come out of your bank account because if you miss a payment, they won't pay the death claim, and people forget stuff all the time. So if everything comes back like Dom said it would at $80.22, would you have a problem keeping this and having it come out of your bank account? Because I know the only reason you wouldn't do this is if you think it was like we were lying or if it was false or something like that, right? And they'd go, yeah, that'd be no problem. All right, cool. Later, Dom. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, like that's, wow. And there'd be times, sometimes I'd be like, I tried to say that already. I'm like, I know, dude, but you didn't say it like that. You didn't say it like that. You didn't say it with that confidence. And sometimes you only need third-party validation. Sometimes you are doing everything right. And you just need somebody else who's not in the situation to back you up. So, Jacob, can you talk? Does all that ring a bell? And can you give us some stories or experiences or you know, maybe why somebody should do that on both ends, whether you're hiring and working with agents or if you're the new agent struggling out there?
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a fun. Oh, yeah. So I had this one appointment with this guy, and I was kind of going through everything, you know, how I thought I was supposed to. And we finally got to the part of like, you know, what his options were. And he was just trying to he was set on one certain thing and that he wanted this product. And I was like, I'm like, is there a reason? So I just couldn't get past him. And I tried everything. So I was like, all right, whatever. Called Dom up and he just started talking to this guy. And I was so uncomfortable. First of all, I felt like I felt like he was going to take his anger out on me, but because Dom was on the phone. So I was just sitting there like, I feel like I'm about to get shot or something. Because like I'm in Oklahoma and like all that, they take out their anger, they just pull out their gun. But anyway, he just started talking to him like so like confidently and like, listen, dude, like it's kind of weird. Like he was just saying it so bluntly and like, and I was like, oh gosh, what's about to happen? And then finally at the end, you know, it was just like, Jacob, like get the heck out of there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I just didn't know what to do. And he just started like the look in this client's eyes. I'm not lying. Scariest. Like I thought that I was going to die that day. And like, then I was just like, dude, Dom, that was so uncomfortable. And you were like, yeah, but I mean, he was there wasting your time and we don't like wasting time. So like, just from that, I was like, oh, I learned something from that. Like if we get to a point where it's just like, dude, you can only help people that want to be helped. And then being able to acknowledge that and not waste your time sitting there and trying to overcome situations. It's just like, it's not worth your time. And you taught me that.
And it was it were we arguing? Was it a yelling match? Was
No.
it, do you know? And I think, and I want folks to, because you're going to learn so much about how I learned so much from Sean about how not to close. Because be clear, we didn't close more deals together than we closed.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned how to save my self image, dude. I learned how to get in the car and still feel good about my occupation,
Yeah.
you know? And it wasn't about making the sale. It was about standing my ground and really trying to help. And I want to help the clients all day long, but I also don't want to hurt. I don't want to go down this road of trying to, make something fit for somebody that they don't even want anyways. So let's just be very clear and let's just leave right now. I went to an appointment the other day with Kyler, and this lady was just talking about her policy that she had, that she paid up and she don't pay out, whatever the case. And, she don't even know why she filled this thing out, but she wants me to leave her some information. And I go, okay, okay, I'll leave. She goes, no, I want you to leave with me some information. I was like, no, I'm just going to leave. And she goes, well, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, I'm walking to my car. And Kyler, he was so uncomfortable, he didn't know what to do. He was like sitting there. I was like, dude, come on, like get up, dude. We're leaving. Do you know what I mean? And we get in the car and he's like, dude, is that like, it's like, yeah, dude, like, why would I leave her a card? She was telling me that she had a policy for $10,000 that she paid up, that she got in 1971. Like nothing made any type of remote sense. Even if you had no insurance experience, you'd be like, I know math, and since 1971 at that monthly price, like that doesn't make any sense. But just I left not to be, oh no, be mean. No, I left because we had more appointments to go to, and I wasn't going to let her drain me of what I know this business is. And I know this business is full of open, loving clients who need my help. I know it. So I got to save that. I got to save that guy. That guy still got to be in his FFL polo. Makes sense? I don't want that woman to pull another guy out who starts thinking clients are something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I'm going into my next appointment, and in the next appointment, we'll sell one, a Purple Heart Marine. Dude, I left her, Agatha, to go to Selwyn's because I needed to be good. I needed to be great when I showed up to Selwyn. But if I would have let Agatha drain me, who knows how I would have showed up to Selwyn's. We don't give cards, when you walk. And that's why you'd call in the home, right? In that house, you didn't leave that guy a card, right? But if you didn't call me, you would have still not closed it, and he would have had your information.
Probably.
Was he ever going to use it?
No.
Never. But you would have felt good about giving him a card.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just be making myself feel good for no reason. It's that whole self-image thing, man. What piece of advice would you give somebody, man? Whether it be in the home. I like the way you are, you're set up. And I kind of want to, we'll get into some of that, but you're set up on the in-home and things. But as in getting started, what recommendations would you give a new agent and or somebody working with new agents, maybe about some things to do or not to do, whatever that may be?
For the in-home?
No, just overall, just getting started.
Okay.
Whether it be it could be in the home, on the phone, getting through a course, anything like that, to help somebody get started faster or get themselves started faster.
I think just getting started. Everyone's going to be shaky on the phones, like kind of, like talking, like they're just not confident enough for yet. But I think getting to that point to where, you know what you're here to do, and you're here to help people, and having that confidence and being able to control situations where getting uncomfortable mainly, getting uncomfortable and kind of just being confident about how you present yourself. On the phones, especially, because that's the whole way we can book appointments, is being confident on the phones and letting these people know that, listen, I just got to get this to you, and whatever happens from there, then whatever. But And then in the home, I think it's all about being honest with them and creating that rapport, but like not taking too long on it. Going in there, like but literally, this is what I do. Right when I get in there, I shake their hand. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Jacob. How you doing?" Big smile on my face. And then I kind of find some things outside, like, their license plate has the college football team that they like, or, something like that. And I walk in, I'm like, "Oh, so you like Oklahoma State?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I don't think this is going to work." They just makes them laugh because in Oklahoma, it's OU OSU, like big rivalry. And kind of going back and forth with that, I just kind of build like a little laughter. And then finally, it's just like, okay, it's time to get to business. I explain to them, what I'm there for and how I'm here to help them. And I think it's all about being honest. Like, listen, I'm not the price guy. I don't just show you options then leave. I'm here to help you get set up with something that, you don't have to worry about this in the future. And then I just create a connection with them, and always make sure to like not be one of those agents that gets in, writes the application, gets out. It's always about being sure that they know that you are their agent, and that they're not going to call anyone else if something happens. They'll call you even if they want to cancel their policy. Like usually, typically, people would just call the insurance company and be done with it. But if you did a good job, like you said, you're like, dude, how you did a good job because they called you to cancel, not the insurance company. So I mean, that was a huge thing. Just starting off, especially use your resources, like Dom, like use your uplines to your best advantage because Dom was my biggest help. I mean, I learned so much just from going in the home, sitting there and getting uncomfortable and just listening to Dom talk, like the way he talked to the clients. And I was like, wow, like he's saying all that, it makes so much sense, but it's so uncomfortable for me. And it just made me get comfortable with doing it because I just listened to how you did it and how they responded to it. And I was like, wow, this really works. This really works. So I think using your resources and just being honest with people and just being you. It's a big thing.
Dude, be you. And I think I said this relationship thing, it works two ways, man. Like we both got to know what we're getting ourselves into. Yeah. Don't rely on systems and automation. Don't rely on underwriting genies. Don't rely on Slack. Don't rely on YouTube videos. Like all that stuff is great, man. And I know you're putting in the work in on those things. But to have somebody and just know that you're never bothering somebody if you call them ever, ever. You can call. I used to call Sean so much. I think that's why he hired Mike Sizer. Okay. Like he was like, Sizer, I know you're selling, dude, but Dom calls me all the time and he's selling quite a bit. So like, I'm not going to tell him not to call me. Does that make sense? Like if I was calling and not closing, that would be a problem. Right. Dude, but I was calling and closing. And actually I was calling so he could close. Makes sense. And it was like, but back to my first appointment, dude, I called him up at the door and he just walked through the whole first appointment. He goes, dude, are you in the house yet? I go, nope. He goes, really? I said, call me once you get to the house. He goes, oh, that's the problem. Yeah. I called you when I got to the house. He goes, most people call me like never call me, or they call me after they tried 10,000 things. Like you're really literal. It's like, yeah, super literal. Be careful what you tell me to do because I'll do it exactly the way you tell me to do it. But we worked it out. We closed the deal. I walked out of the appointment and I'm like, dude, we're going to do that every time. He goes, we're definitely not doing it like that every time. All right. But if you can go through the financial inventory and at least know their name, age, how much money they make, and their prescriptions, dude, we can do that all the time. I go, well, shoot, I could do that because none of what he told me to do took any insurance knowledge.
Yep.
Does that make sense? That's what I was so jacked up about. I was like, bro, the things that he's telling me to do have nothing to do with insurance. Holy smoke. Everything I was worried about had to do with insurance. I had no, does that make sense? Does that fit you at all?
No, 100%. I mean, I walked in there, did that, and then gave you a call, and I was like, shoot, I don't even know the products. He just tells me what app to write.
Hey, okay. All we need you to know how to do, dude, is how to log into the websites.
There you go.
All right. And how to put in 52, smoker or non-smoker. Hey, bro, and hit calculate. Hey, and by the way, the e-apps, they won't let you mess up. But if they don't know who you are, they don't know who you are, what you're about, all that, it's hard. It's really hard. So going into this, it's all about Who are you? How did you get there? Did they know you were a brand new agent?
Mm-hmm.
Did they know you played ball? Did they know your background? They know how you got there.
100%. And that's what I do also. Like just my background, just starting off, I'm like, okay, so first a little bit about me. And I tell them like, okay, I was born and raised in Oklahoma. I went to Newcastle High School. I went to Rose State College, played baseball my whole life. I graduated last year and I got into insurance and I've been helping families and I've loved doing it ever since. So that's how I got here. And then I just go into, okay, now why I'm here is this what we're going to do today? And then do the whole thing.
You know, it just popped into my mind. Like kind of how like, well, you found this on a DM, right? Like, well, I shot you a DM. Well, these people are finding this like on the internet, right? Facebook, and internet, pretty similar. Like the ambivalence of, is this too good to be true, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I wouldn't be opposed to telling my clients, hey, yeah, just like I get it. Like I'm a stranger. I've actually found this business through a guy who's been in the industry forever on Instagram. He shot me a message. I did some research, figured out I had to get a state license. So that made it legit. And then they figured out that they had people like you, which I'm sitting with now, who want life insurance. So that like, it's another check mark there. Makes sense. So it's like everything that like you thought about what you're getting into today, I already thought about the industry.
Yeah.
Like you're leveling up with them. You're letting them know, hey, I had the same ambivalence about what I'm doing right now with you as you do as what you're about to do with me. Dude, it's like, be that real with people. You make sales. See, when I didn't talk about me having cancer, when I didn't talk about me growing up with my mom and having coaches as my kind of like role model, like when I didn't talk about that, I didn't connect with people. I thought I was like the Doogie Howser of insurance. Like that's not who they want. They want the guy from Rose State who played baseball. They want the guy who was just open to an opportunity and is crazy enough to respond to a DM. That's who they want selling them insurance. That's who they want. They don't want the guy who, I've been dreaming about being in financial services my whole life. That is the complete opposite of the person that our clients want. Would you agree?
100%.
That guy's going to get smoked by our clients. And our clients smoke, by the way. They smoke a lot of different things. Okay. Mm-hmm. But dude, be clear. So like, dude, you got to know, man. So one piece of advice, bro, before we wrap this thing up, brother, what you got?
Consistent, be consistent with your business and, be different than everyone else because everyone else is doing 30 appointments a week. Everyone else is dialing on Mondays and Thursdays. Be different. Shoot, dial on Tuesdays after your appointments, in between appointments, go door knock, go be different than everyone else is, and you'll get to the level that you want to be at.
I love it, dude. Hey, we got this thing that we rocking. Big hitters only, which means we swing for the fences, dude. You know what I mean? We swing hard and stay different, like you just said. Nobody who chose to get an insurance license said, hey, I want to be like everybody else. I want to go into societal norms. If that was the case, you wouldn't be an independent contractor selling insurance. Let's be real. That does not fit into society norms. Stay different. Keep doing your thing. And appreciate you guys for having us on. Have a good Friday. Later.